I actually went with the running back here. For the first time all season long in both Superflex and single quarterback, I moved Breece Hall to the top. I love the landing spot, the fact that they moved up to get him very early in the second round. All signs point to Breece Hall being that all-purpose back that gets opportunities on first, second, and third down. Everything we like about Breece Hall, they clearly like in New York as well. And the additions on the outside and on that front line for the Jets make me think that Breece Hall could have a really special rookie season. He belongs at the top of everybody's list.
I was hoping you stuck with your wide receiver at the top, Dan, but I certainly don't blame you. I agree with you. It is Breece Hall at the top. That's who I got last week at the 1.02. I won't be quite as lucky this time, but I still like my pick. I'm going to take your guy. I'm going to take Treylon Burks. He's my wide receiver one in this class. I was kind of flip-flopping on wide receiver one entering the class, and even though he was, I believe he was the 6th rookie wide receiver drafted, loved the landing spot. We already talked about the Tennessee situation. He's walking right into wide receiver one type of targets.
My favorite one is Garrett Wilson, but I'm not going to take him. I'm going to take Drake London here.
Whoa!
I know. I never thought I would land on Drake London as the second guy out of this tier. But I think he is, based on draft capital and the situation he's going into. I trust Marcus Mariota a little bit more than Zach Wilson at this point. He's the clear receiving target there outside of Kyle Pitts. So we're taking draft capital and potential volume in year one over the player that I like a little bit better.
I'm back on the clock at 4, and I will take Garrett Wilson. I think there is a mini tier break here after Wilson. I have actually, my rankings are exactly as it goes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, Hall, Burks, London, and Wilson. I really love Wilson in that New York offense. I think maybe there's a little bit of repetitiveness among those wide receivers now. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. But Garrett Wilson is a guy that we were all pretty excited about coming into the draft. He got all the draft capital that we wanted. He landed in a spot with a young quarterback and an offense that isn't yet established, but certainly is one that we think is on the move.
I'm going to go with Jameson Williams here at the 5 spot. Just like all of these wide receivers that we're going to be talking about, he gets the draft capital. I certainly like Amon-Ra St. Brown, but if Williams is as good as advertised and he can make that smooth transition and gets healthy, he's going to be the top target in that Lions offense. You look, you fast forward 1 year, they're getting some type of quarterback upgrade, whether it's making a big trade or drafting one of those quarterbacks that we're already liking at the top of the 23 draft. Either way, it's not Jared Goff for long, and that's good news for Jameson Williams.
I think there's 2 obvious pick here. One of them is the wide receiver, and that's Chris Olave. I think, goes to a spot where presumed going to be the number one role, the X role. If Michael Thomas comes back and is healthy, we have to assume he goes back to his normal role of lots of slants and stuff like that as the big slot player. Obviously, he can't play outside too, but Olave really profiles as that. I'm just not certain he's going to be able to. I mean, I know that it isn't as big of a transition, as it would be for a guy like Christian Watson or whatever. But for some reason, I just have this gut feeling that Olave is not an NFL wide receiver one. He's going to have a difficulty with true number one cornerback coverage. So I think he's the easy pick here, the safe pick here, if you were. But I do have my concerns.
At 7, I'm going to take Kenneth Walker III. Seattle picked him. Got the draft capital that we expected. The landing spot maybe questionable because that offensive line needs some work, and the quarterback wasn't addressed. We're looking at Drew Lock as the starting quarterback, most likely in Seattle, unless they make a move for one of these veterans that might be available. The one thing is Chris Carson, it's doubtful that he is the same guy when he gets back on the field. Rashad Penny, outside of a 6 or 7 week stretch last season, has never been able to stay healthy. And now we get a young guy in Walker that can come in there. He'll get his opportunity for sure. Seattle always gives their guys those chances. They rotate through those running backs until they find the one that they really like. And once he takes that job, I think there's a path to him becoming a fringe running back one at his ultimate upside. I think the expectation most likely is RB2 type production, and that's just fine with the 7th pick in a rookie draft that is really full of wide receivers with upside. I think he fits in right here at 7. That's where I have him ranked.
I've been chasing draft capital. I'm going to pivot from that, and I'm going to chase landing spot. Instead, I'm going to go with Skyy Moore here at the 1.08. Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver they drafted in the 2nd round. And, of course, Tyreek Hill's gone. Juju is there. Skyy Moore is now there. MVS is there. None of those guys are really prototypical wide receiver one. So I'm really interested to see how things shake out in Kansas City.
I'm going to put the pressure on Dan to take the draft capital guy and stay away. I am going to go with Christian Watson, who you guys know I was not excited about landing in Green Bay pre-draft, and I'm still very worried about it. But you can't deny the athleticism. You don't know what's going to happen in year one with Rodgers' historic. Not really using his rookie wide receivers, but I think this is a very different situation than past rookie wide receivers. You don't have Donald Driver and Greg Jennings there. You don't have Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings there. You don't have Devontae Adams there. It's literally no one but Watson and a bunch of guys that we think can probably catch a few passes. So just based on upside alone, I think Watson slots in here right in the same area as Skyy Moore.
I actually have one player in front of the guy that you're talking about, and that's George Pickens. I would take Pickens because of the ultimate upside in Pittsburgh with the new quarterback and all those things. I trust the Pittsburgh Steelers to develop their 2nd round wide receiver like they have so many times in the past. So I have him at 10 and the guy Ryan's about to take at 11.
Yep, I will pull the trigger on Jahan Dotson. I almost took him over Skyy Moore, honestly. It's not just first round draft capital. It's mid first round draft capital, higher than anybody expected Dotson to be drafted. I don't necessarily look at Washington and think that's a good landing spot, but there certainly is opportunity. You could argue they upgraded the quarterback position this offseason. We'll see about that.
It'd be a long argument.
It would be with Carson Wentz there. But honestly, I would say the same thing I said about Detroit. If Wentz doesn't go back to that near MVP level, he's going to be gone, and they're going to have another quarterback.
Man, I feel like no matter who we're drafting, none of them really would belong in the first round of a really good rookie draft. But I'm going to go back to running back and take James Cook, who you guys mentioned. Immediately becomes the best pass catching option out of the backfield. Zach Moss is dead. Devin Singletary, his guy's coming for the early down role too, I think. So James Cook could get pushed into the late first.
So round 2 is in the books. It went Dameon Pierce, Rashad White, Wan'Dale Robinson, and John Mechie, followed by David Bell, Jalen Tolbert, and Alec Pierce. The 208 was Brian Robinson, then Isaiah Spiller, Zamir White, Tyler Algier, and Trey McBride. I'll give you round 3 real quick. Tyrion Davis Price went first, then Jelani Woods, Khalil Shakir, Romeo Doubs, Calvin Austin, and Kenny Pickett. The second half of the 3rd round went Pierre Strong, Tyquan Thornton, Velus Jones Jr., Desmond Ritter, Hassan Haskins, and Danny Gray. I think if anything, guys, we learned that round 3 is going to be a crapshoot, and you're just throwing a dart. Because, outside of maybe the top couple that I'm kind of excited about, I'd love to get Woods on all my teams for sure. It gets pretty questionable pretty fast.